saying that why does it have to be do that? We account for 3% of global emission, but yet we feel the biggest impact of environmental disaster.
I think that is the core of injustice, right? That is the essence of injustice, that we see, those who are least contributing to global warming and the least contributing to climate change and resource overuse are usually the first to experience the worst impacts. And this is something that is, there's probably a long historical way to talk about this, but at the end of the day, it's about the extreme inequality that we see in the world.
Does it have to do with the overexploitation from Africa to other developed countries that makes that impact greater?
Absolutely. There's so much of what we're seeing is because of overexploitation of people and resources. And, like I mentioned, that all of that is rooted in colonialism. That all of that is rooted in the not just colonialism in the past, but current colonialism and a colonialist mindset that is being, that continues to be pervasive, not just in the way that we talk about it country to country, but also talking about it in terms of the colonialist mindset of corporations that go in and exploit people and natural resources. And you see that not just in the most overt ways, but it comes in covert ways too. And you see development strategy that just reinforces the power dynamics that have created this, inequality in the first place. So I think there's a lot to be said around what can be done in terms of reparations or redistribution of wealth from the north to the south, or from high income countries to lower income and lower middle income countries. That I think is a major piece of what can move the needle and change things. But you're right. It all comes back to this massive inequality and the overexploitation.
Oh, thank you. So, what do you have to say concerning on this day, on this Earth Overshoot? What's your advice to governments, to individuals, to corporates, to businesses? What do you have for them?
Well, if I have to choose, if I have to give advice to everyone all at the same time, sometimes I think it's a lot easier if you can just choose one person and tell them what they should do. But to think about it more broadly, a lot of this is about how we think about the world. It's a mind shift. It's not changing from using a plastic straw to a metal straw. It's not, something, it's not these little small things. It's more, what am I doing to prepare myself for my own future? And that can be true for an individual, but it's probably even more true for policymakers and for corporations or companies. If you're a business and you're not thinking 10 years into the future about how to make changes to reduce your reliance on supply chains that aren't going to exist in a post-fossil fuel world, you're not going to exist in 10 years. So I guess what I would say is I think this is about kind of reframing how we talk about this, to say this isn't about sacrifice to make our lives harder. It's how do we make decisions for our future that are going to make our lives better? And that comes from seeing opportunities and possibilities rather than, waiting for these global, everyone signs their pledge and promises to do something. It's taking too long. COP26 has a lot of hope on it. But the thing is, those international agreements, they take too long, and they're not going far enough. So we don't want to wait. We can't wait. As if I were a mayor, if I were a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, if I were the town council leader, I would want to think about things in that perspective. because I want my community to thrive. I want my country to thrive. I want my company to thrive. And that comes with thinking about this from the opportunities, not from the doom and gloom and waiting for the rest of the world to catch up.
Yeah, that is true. I agree with you totally. Because little things matters, individual effort, collective effort, government effort, all of this when summed together is going to make us to get to a point where we are heading to, because it doesn't matter the kind of movement we join, but what matters is where we are going to, what we want to achieve the most. And I saw that if people have this 100 days of possibilities ahead of COP26, can you just give us just a summary of what it looks like? Maybe something people can join you, you know, I can also join you on such.
Absolutely. So because there is so much possibility in the world right now, we decided that we wanted to highlight some of the greatest, not necessarily the greatest, but just some of the great ideas that are out there and the great products or processes or policies that are helping move the date of Earth Overshoot Day. And there are about 100 days between Earth Overshoot Day this year and the beginning of COP26. So every day for 100 days, we're going to highlight a new solution. And some of them are community solutions, some of them are products, some of them are policies, but really what this is all culminating in is us, communities, individuals, companies, telling COP that we're not waiting. We're not going to wait, and there's no point in waiting. And that we as civil society, we as corporates, we as government, like local governments, we can send that message that we're not going to wait. And I think it's going to make a difference. I hope it makes a difference, but at the very least, we're going to highlight some amazing things that are happening in the world.
So how do we get to see?
I would love for repeat. How do we get to, what's that?
So how do we get to see all of those highlights? Is it on social media platform? Where do we find them?
Yeah, so we'll be highlighting all of these possibilities on 100daysofpossibility.org. But we will also be highlighting them on our Instagram and Twitter feed. So you can check us out on Twitter at @EndOvershoot, and on Instagram we're Global Footprint Network. And I think it's going to be amazing. And I would love for everyone, and for you and everyone that you are reaching, to join this movement and to help us move the date and to send a real message that we're not waiting.
Thank you so much. That is amazing. And it's good to have you as a guest today on this special and important day of Earth Overshoot, to get to tell people why we need to move the dates, because it's going to help us. It is for the people and for the planet, because this is going to even help to better our life. We can bring up innovative and also sustainable finance that could help us to move the date. So I agree with all you have said today, and we are with you in your campaign and the next action that you are taking to see that we all have a sustainable future for all. And it all starts from now, that we keep making those differences. Imagine you just see that if we can keep improving on the Earth Overshoot, moving those dates, it's going to help us to achieve a zero carbon world, and we can make that possible. Thank you, and hope you're enjoying this interview. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much for having me. This has been wonderful. I really appreciate your work.
Thank you.
All right.